I think it's very important. There is such an intrinsic link between us and you. I don't know if you're so aware of it as I am, because this is the third time I've come to Belfast. And I've listened to victims. I don't like that word because I don't consider myself a victim. I'm hoping to free myself from that. And I've listened to bereaved families and to their rhetoric. And I listen to us and how we use victimization and being victims as an excuse for behavior. And I don't see that that is the path to any kind of ending of our conflict. And so we decided within the parent circle that we were looking for things that would bring the media, because we need to have a rippling effect with our message, and also that would allow people to talk when they couldn't always express how they felt. We started off by having a wonderful exhibition of ceramic plates where 135 Palestinian and Israeli artists all gave their version of what reconciliation meant for them. Actually, the idea, and this went to the United Nations and to the World Bank and blah, blah, and it was wonderful because we got this huge amount of space to make comments and to talk about reconciliation. Because you see, both Siham and I belong to the Parent Circle Families Forum. We're a group of more than 500 families who have all lost an immediate family member in the conflict. And I think for me, personally, this cartoon here is the most poignant. Because I lost my son by a sniper. And if you read the words, I think it has an international message. It's not just for Israelis and Palestinians. It's actually a cartoon by an Australian cartoonist called Kathy Wilcox. But this is the bullet that broke the child, that broke the parents, that broke the family, that broke the community, that broke the town, that broke the state, that was seeking revenge from the country which broke the heart of the world. So what more could we say about that? And the really interesting thing that happened with this exhibition, we decided to have cartoons for reconciliation. That doesn't exactly work because cartoonists are extremely cynical. So it turned into cartooning in conflict. And this exhibition has been to America, to New York, it's been to St. Martin in the Fields, it's been to Spain, Italy, Austria, the Edinburgh Festival, it's now here, it's going to Seville. It's been already to Madrid, to Caceres in Spain. And it's just a wonderful excuse to bring people to discuss things, people who would never hear our message normally. You see, what we're looking for is to create a framework for a reconciliation process to be in place for when political agreements are signed. Because you can stand on the White House lawn and you can kiss each other and you can sign papers. But if the people are not involved, it will be another ceasefire. It will never, ever be a peace agreement. And so everything that we do in the Parent Circle has to do with removing demonization. And I think this exhibition is just a small part of how we see the world. So when you go around, don't only look for a message to make you laugh. There's some very, very intense, sad cartoons. There's this one from Belgium, which says, you know, this is the way we share the land, with a Palestinian grave and an Israeli grave. And that's what it is. You know, how much longer shall we go with the cycle of violence? And so I think that we can share this with you, and there are a lot of projects that we do in the Parent Circle. We speak to more than 40,000 students every year, where a Palestinian and an Israeli will walk into a classroom, and you will discover that an Israeli child of 17 has never met a Palestinian in his life, doesn't speak Arabic, and also probably has been overseas. And most of his parents would actually fit into that category rather well. And so for the first time in their life, they meet a Palestinian and they begin to understand the pain and what a life is for a Palestinian and how important it is maybe for freedom of movement. You know, we take things so much for granted, so would an Israeli child. Why would he realize that the Palestinian who came together with me to talk in the classroom may have had to come through 5 or 6 checkpoints, may have had to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, may have had to go through the indignity of coming through a checkpoint. Look, I'm not a Palestinian. I love Israel. But I also realize what is happening to us as a country. You see, when you are a young Israeli soldier and you have to make decisions which are far beyond your capacity or maturity, and you stand at a checkpoint, and a pregnant woman comes to the checkpoint, and you start to wonder, is she really pregnant? Isn't she pregnant? What's she carrying underneath there? Shall I stop her? Shall I let her through? What shall I do? And he doesn't let her through. And she has the baby at the checkpoint and the baby dies. This is not fiction. This happens. So what does that kid have to live with after that? He came from a home, probably something like my home, I don't know. And then he has to go home and he can't tell his parents what he did. So he comes sometimes to tell us if he's lucky. But if he isn't, he takes his father's car and he gets drunk and he has an accident. And more Israelis are killed on the road than are in the conflict. And there is more domestic violence than there's ever been. And there's more violence in schools. So where does that come from? You see, I love Israel. I paid a really high price to say the things that I'm saying. But I can tell you that we have to live in a country which understands that it will never be free until its neighbor is free. And so this is the work that we will be doing. And I'm going to tell you only about one project, apart from the schools, that I'm telling you this because I really want you to be involved, and I've got some evil plans in my mind of how Belfast and Israel-Palestine can all be involved, not with flags in the Protestant quarter or from Israel, or flags from Palestine in the Catholic quarter, because I don't think that's helping anybody. It just makes you feel good about yourself. And I don't see how Siam's life was improved by a Palestinian flag. I might be able to see that her life is improved by us getting out of the occupied territories. That might be a little better than a Palestinian T-shirt. So, we created a project, it's called A Crack in the Wall. We created a telephone line, which is a toll-free telephone line. And this was in 2002, and it was between Palestinians and Israelis. Because if you understand about the country, logistically we're totally cut off from each other. It is terribly difficult to meet, and getting more difficult. So, with this telephone line, we had more than 1 million calls. They weren't, hello darling, let's make peace. You know, there were some very vicious calls, but it was the beginning of a dialogue. And from these calls, we got very inspired with all the modern day technology, Facebook, Twitter, text messages, the internet. And so we've upgraded the whole project so that the whole world can be involved. For this charming thing, I created a Facebook. Does anybody have Facebook around here? Okay, so if you do, please be my friend, because then you can be part of the Crack in the Wall. What it will be is once a month or once every 2 weeks, we will put out a message. And that message will be a question. And the question could be something like, what do you think of the Arab Initiative? Let's discuss. Or do you think that women should be wearing the veil? Let's discuss. And then you can send either a text message, a message that would come through the internet, through Twitter, through Facebook. to 2 virtual walls. One will be Palestinian, one will be Israeli. The only thing that will be censored is if it's abusive. But you can say whatever you like, and it can be anonymous or it can be personal. And these messages are the most extraordinary way for people to cross borders which are forbidden. And through this whole project, we hope to open up a discussion all over the world. And what we can also do is we will create a wall, a real virtual wall on the website. And every time something very interesting or moving will happen, there will become a light behind that message. I think this is a fantastic project, and it's using every possible way that we can communicate because we're so cut off. There are many, many projects, and I would really love you to be part of that. And I want to discuss with Jim and with Anne and with my friends here a way to deepen this relationship, because we have a lot of projects around that.
Really, I am a bereaved sister, but I lost either my mother because of suffering. So she spent a lot of years in the jail, but the jail never killed her. What killed her is seeing my brother killed while she was trying to save my other brother's life in Saudi Arabia, Ali. She was with Ali after one of the settlers shot him badly in his knee, so she tried to save his life while Yusuf was killed. So I lost my childhood, and the only images I have in my mind about my childhood is painful images. I still remember that while I was carrying my sister, my little sister, 5 years old, from my school to my house, and we are running after the smell of cooking coming out from the windows, not because we are hungry, no, because we miss our mother while she was in the jail. So this is make me crazy. And unfortunately, after I lost all of my family, I start understand that revenge will never lead me to live as a normal one, or to have a normal life as any human being in the earth. So really, I'm so proud to be part of this group, and I'm so proud to tell you that I understand how to reconcile with my destiny. What happened with me, it will be in the past, and I will start from now, even if one of my kids in the jail now, but what I say, I prefer to see him in the jail, not in a grave. So it's given me some hope that one day I will be a free woman, and I will live once as a normal human. So thank you.